Okay, so let's go ahead and go through this first example. It says to write the equation of the circle in standard form when we're given the equation x squared plus y squared minus 36 equals 0. So here I see that my x squared and y squared terms are already as simple as they can be, but I notice that I have a constant term over here that needs to be on the other side of the equation. That's going to denote our radius. So in order to get rid of negative 36, I need to do the inverse operation, which is addition. And I'm going to add 36 to both sides of the equation. When I do this, I'm going to end up just with x squared plus y squared equals 36. Now I do need to do one more thing, because 36 is not my radius, 36 is my radius squared. So remember, if we look at our form of our equation, it's typically the radius squared when we do the original equation. So here, now I'm going to do a second step, which is take the square root of my radius, which is 6. So my final equation is going to be x squared plus y squared equals 6. And this would be the equation for my solution. Alright, so here I'm asked again to write the equation in standard form for the circle. X squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6 equals 0. So again, I'm noticing a constant here. I'm noticing an x term that I know is going to go with my x squared. And then I don't see any y term. So remember that in order to create the equation of a standard form of a circle, we need to rearrange the equation, and we also need to do the perfect square of that negative 8x, x squared minus 8x situation. So let's start by just rearranging our circle. So the first thing I'm going to do is rearrange it. And here I have x squared minus 8x plus something. Something is going to go right here because remember we need to make a perfect square. Then we're going to say plus y squared. Notice there's no other y terms here, so I don't need to do anything else with that term. Then I have plus 6 equals 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do two steps at once here. I'm going to move my 6 over to the other side of the equation because I know that I need this to come over there in order to solve this. But the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find the perfect square of this part of my equation. So in order to find the perfect square, the first thing we're going to do is divide negative 8 by 2. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And then we're going to square it. Negative 4 squared equals 16. So we're going to fill 16 into that box. Okay? So let's go ahead and rewrite what we have so far. We have x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus y squared equals negative 6. And since I added 16 to the left side of the equation, I also now need to add 16 to the right side of my equation. So here I'm also going to add 16. Now I can combine like terms on the right. My y squared is done, and I need to put what is this when I factor it as a perfect square trinomial. And so remember that to find the factors of this, it would just be what it was originally. It'd be x, it's actually this number right here. So whatever that was divided by 2. So it's going to be x minus 4 squared And notice how this is going to fill in my equation right here. Y squared is going to come right here. I'm not going to need any of this. This is going to go away. And then on the right-hand side of my equation, I do need to combine like terms. Negative 6 plus 16 would give me 10. So now we can go ahead and fill in our equation. Go ahead and put our equation into our answer right here. So we have x minus 4 squared plus y squared equals our radius, which is 10. So that is what I would put if I was looking to put the answer right here. Let me get rid of this because this will, let me make that bigger. Make this look a little bit nicer for our final answer. Oh, that's too big. That's okay. So we'll put y squared and then equals 10. So this is what how I would write it if I was looking for my final answer. Again, you don't have to have the numbers on the bottom or the letters on the bottom, but that's what I would look for if we were writing this into an answer.
The entire equation, here we have the equation of the circle, x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 4y minus 4 equals 0. We're asked how to find the center and the radius of the circle and explain or show our reasoning. Draw a graph of the circle. So we're going to tackle step 1 first. We're going to rewrite the equation. So I'm going to rewrite it in different colors. I'm going to rewrite my x's together. So I'm going to put x squared and negative 2x together. I'm going to rewrite my y's together, y squared and 4y. And then I'm going to move my negative 4 over here with my 0 because those are my constant terms. Okay, so let's start with the x's. I'm going to do x squared minus 2x plus something. So remember, we have to turn this into a perfect square trinomial in order to complete the square. Now I'm going to put my y's. So plus y squared plus 4y plus my unknown. Got to turn it into a perfect square trinomial. Minus 4 and equals 0. So in step 1, we rewrote it in order. In step 2, we're going to do 3 different things at once. The first thing we're going to do is move our constant from the left side of our equation over to the right side of our equation. So this is going to cancel this out. Remember, this is going to turn this into our radius. Technically, it's our radius squared. Our radius squared is 4. Okay? So, really quick before we do anything else, let me just remind you that we have x minus h plus y minus k equals the radius squared. And so just remember that that is our standard form equation of a circle. I did forget the little squares here. Okay, so this is what we're trying to make this original equation look like. Alright, so in order to find the perfect square, remember that we have to divide this number by 2. So negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Then we need to square that number, and 1 squared gives me positive 1. Okay? This is my perfect square trinomial right here. Remember, after that, we are going to have to find the square, what it would be as a factor, but we'll do that next. So again here, 4 divided by 2, which is positive 2, squared gives me a 4. Okay? So now we have our equation in standard form, but we need to get it all the way into our h minus k format. And the way that we do that is we are going to do 2 things. We need to add 1 and 4 to the right side of my equation, and we need to find the factors over here. So let's go ahead and start by just rewriting it. We have x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus y squared plus 4y plus 4, and then equals 4. Again, I told you we're going to need to add those other two things to the left that we did to the right. So we added 1 on the left, so we're going to add 1 on the right. We also added 4 to the left, so we're going to add 4 to the right as well. Okay, so again, those are these numbers right here. Now, I'm going to do two things in the next step. I'm going to find what would be the factors of x squared minus 2x plus 1. Remember, this is a perfect square trinomial, which tells me that it's whatever this number was right here is going to be my factor. Okay, so whatever my term was divided by 2, that's going to be my factor. So it's x minus 1. Remember that that is squared because that's what my equation says down here. Plus, I'm going to do the same thing to find the factor, the perfect square of y squared plus 4y plus 4. Remember, it's going to be y plus something or y minus something. It's this number, whatever the number was, divided by 2. So y plus 2. Remember, that's squared. And then equals whatever I add right here. So 4 plus 1 plus 4. And 4 plus 1 plus 4 is 9. So equals 9. So this right here is the equation. And now that I know the equation, I can find the center and the radius. Okay? So remember that the center is in the form h comma k. So the center is, hey Lyle, is h comma k. Okay, so we're going to be looking for h comma k, and then the radius, remember, is our r, or the square root of r squared. So if we're looking down at this equation that we just went through, our h is the first term if we remember back to our notes, our k is the second term if we look back at our notes, and then our r squared, this one is actually r squared, and so we're going to have to take the square root of 9. So we're going to take the square root of 9 to find our r, which is 3. So now that I know those three things, I can actually graph my circle onto the circle over here. So our h is -1, our k is 2. So that's, again, the center of my circle if I look up here at the top. So I'm going to go -1, 2. That's the center of my circle. And then my radius is 3. So if my r equals 3, I'm going to go up, down, left, and right, 3 in different directions so that I can make my circle. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Now that I have some points, I can try my best to make a nice looking circle. And there is the circle of this equation.